So we're going to talk mental health, and we've got Dr. Mack joining us again from Your Health Pharmacy, which is a compounding pharmacy. And I love, I said to Dr. Mack last week, we're talking, it's a new concept, and he reminded me, no, it's an old concept of what pharmacists used to do before Big Pharma came in and started doing it all for everyone. Now it's back to being personalized pharmacy again. So what's old is new, and now I just think it's better than ever.
Yes, and thank you for having me back. Because more people are finding out that they need personalized medicine than before, where it was just you get a prescription, you go to the pharmacy, pick up some pills, take it home, and hopefully it worked, which that usually works for about 80% of the people, but that 20% really needs a variation in what's being produced by Big Pharma in order to work for them. So it's great to be in a position to help people, especially when there are not many options or outlets for them to get it in our formats.
Has pharmacy school changed from when you went to where it is now? Is now more they're just teaching dosing, or are they teaching compounding?
No, compounding is not taught in schools.
It's not.
Big Pharma is still the biggest outlet for medications. Whether it's in a grocery store that has a pharmacy or other standalone pharmacies on, almost every corner seems like around the United States. So that's still a bigger focus. The compounding part of it is really more of the art of pharmacy, being able to specialize it, being able to have the relationship with the patients that I'm compounding for, so they could call up, they could tell me what may have changed, what they've done differently on their side of things, if I need to talk with the doctor about helping them make an adjustment. So all of that is a lot more personalized than you just showing up, I hand you some pills and you see in a month.
It's totally different.
It's funny because I was watching a movie that we all know, and the space shuttle is built on the cheapest bid. Do you realize you go to space, if you're on this thing, you're sitting on a missile that was put in with the cheapest bid to get there. Because the cheapest bid is the one that wins, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not the most expensive bid. Medicine in pharmaceutical is the same way. You buy pills that are cheap. You go to Costco and you get, what did you call it, Doc? A placebo?
Placebo.
Yeah, placebo that does absolutely nada.
We were talking about that Saturday night, and someone at our table was saying, well, I go to Costco and I buy this supplement like this, and it's cheap.
It's $2. Yeah, but it doesn't.
But does it work?
So I created the lick the label. Empty bottle. You buy it, you
lick
peel it, and
the
you lick
label.
the label. It's as effective as the junk you're buying. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but
Am I wrong? That's all I want to know. Yeah, no, but.
it's a matter of how it gets absorbed, and
Well, this is why you lick
is
the
what?
label and nothing gets absorbed.
through your tongue.
But it costs you 99 cents for the bottle. The bigger the bottle, the. So what a lot of people do is they buy medicine based on price,
Correct.
not knowing it doesn't work.
Well, Dr. Mack, how are all of these? I guess we got to start with supplements, not the medications, right? There's tons of turmeric, vitamin B, C, you name it. Different prices, different companies. They don't even all have the name brand in them unless you look at some. They don't all have the vitamin that you think is going to be in that. It might be all proprietary blends of that might lead you. Even Sudafed isn't Sudafed.
Yeah, so, like with the Sudafed and McMillan Pharmaceutical years ago started doing branding with the name Tylenol, and because of that name, people would buy the product. But initially, Tylenol was really acetaminophen. That was the link. The acetaminophen made by McNeil, they sold it as Tylenol. But as that name got larger, and McNeil wanted to sell other things, but get right to the front of the line, they put Tylenol on it, PM, but that was really diphenhydramine, which is Benadryl. So there are many practices like that where they use their big name and they tweak it a little bit, the Tylenol PM or Tylenol for, whatever reason that they're trying to market. But what's in there, you have to turn it on the back to see what the active ingredient is. But most of the supplements, and it really just depends on the company that are producing the supplements, They should have the turmeric in it, but it's whether they're gonna make it in the most absorbable form for your body. So when you take it, it's ready to be absorbed versus your body has to go through a process to try to break it down in order to get the benefit from it so that the body can use it. And if the body is already having a problem with that conversion, that's where it's not doing you very much good. The proper salt form is very important.
Well, how do we find out? Otherwise, we're just taking supplement after supplement. I mean, you took glucosamine and chondroitin from a big bottle.
I took what?
Glucosamine and chondroitin, and you take, what else you're taking? You're taking magnesium. You take all these things from the big box stores, and they're not necessarily being absorbed the right way because they're cheaper, the ones you used to take anyway.
It's not that they were cheaper. I found them to be effective. Don't call me cheap on TV. What's the matter with you? Lord have mercy.
No. But when you go to the big box stores, they're cheaper than, say, going to a pharmacy where they're saying, or to Daphne, where she'll say, I know you're going to absorb this brand.
Well, let me tell you something. I went to Daphne, and she gave me a spray for my allergies. And not allergies. I had just gotten COVID, so she gave me something with
It's a nasal spray.
this huge bottle. And it burned like the dickens in my head.
I've had that.
Like, I mean, I'm gonna tell you something, Doc. When I saw this, I saw 4 of you. So I wasn't too happy about that because it hurt.
Yeah.
So I still have some of that because it hurts every time I use it. Is it working? I don't know. So it isn't. Sometimes I am guilty of buying stuff like magnesium.
Like everybody, sure.
That's cheaper. But I didn't know that there was a difference. Magnesium to me is magnesium, but apparently it's not. Correct?
Correct. The elemental magnesium is what we need in order for the body to do, actually with magnesium, around 300 processes in the body. But to get it absorbed, to get it all the way in there where it needs to work, that's where cost many times is a factor. So again, if the company is not doing anything to it, it's probably going to be a little cheaper than for them to put it through a process where they make the elemental form of that magnesium readily to be pulled in by the body in order to get into the cells in order to do the job without the body having to work on it. So, just with magnesium alone, there are about 4 types, and really it's one of those things where you have to turn the bottles around and just kind of see what's in there, because they react when they're absorbed in people differently. There's like magnesium chloride, magnesium carbonate, which a lot of times the magnesium carbonate is the one that comes in a green bottle. Kind of tastes like a off Sprite, but it will help the bowels to move if you need your bowels to move, because magnesium is needed in the gut. There's also magnesium oxalate, magnesium taurine, magnesium glycine, which helps to get absorbed, help to relax the muscles, helps to relax the brain, allow the body to rest. So all of those different forms of magnesium, yes, they all contain the elemental magnesium, but their absorption is going to be different. And on average, each person may range between 100 milligrams up to about 400 milligrams of magnesium before they usually feel the GI effects, where they say, oh no, I took that and it made me go to the bathroom. So being able to have the right form at the right dose for you will allow you to get all of those benefits from magnesium. But we really do need magnesium in the body every day for all of those processes. And as you brought up as well with the glucosamine, just as an example with that, is definitely going to be price driven. Glucosamine sulfate is going to be absorbed way better than a glucosamine hydrochloride. So if you were to go in and get a big, huge bottle from one of the wholesale big box stores, and it's glucosamine hydrochloride, and you take the capsule, it may say 1,500 milligram, but that same milligram strength in the glucosamine sulfate is going to give your body around 2,500 milligrams of the glucosamine. So you can see that's a huge difference that you're going to be able to get for the body to absorb. It's going to be able to work on the body better, the sulfate form, and you're going to feel like you have better benefits. And remember, with the supplements, many times, if you're not looking on the back of the bottle and looking at the serving size, that's another one. If you get a big bottle and if you look on the back and you're really supposed to take 4 or 6 of those to get the right daily allowance, you may not want to take 6 big pills. So, the absorption usually will allow you also to take 1 or 2 of that same one, maybe a little more expensive, but you could take less pills physically.
So it's not to use the term girl math.
You got to look at right. If you have to take 2 every 3 hours, you end up taking 6.
That's cost and effectiveness.
Right.
You have
It's
to
a pain
take
in the
the
neck.
number of pills by what you're paying. That's what each pill costs you.
Yes, and the serving size is on the label, as well as how many milligrams you would get from that serving. So if you're supposed to have 750 or 1,500 milligrams every day in order to have your joints feel better, that's where you look on the back and see, well, how many of these do I have to take in order to get to that 1,500 milligrams? And now, all of a sudden, that big bottle of 500, you're going to go through that way faster than you thought. So, if it's still going to last you for a month, it's better to spend a little more and just take one that has the right salt form in it.
Now, how do you know what's the right amount?
Right.
Well, it's going to vary for, different supplements. So, like glucosamine is usually in that range of 1,500 milligrams, even up to 3,000, just depending on how much your joints may ache. Whereas like the magnesium is usually between 1 and up to like 400 milligrams. So each one, as well as on the back of the label, will have what's the recommended daily allowance for it. So you'll be able to see it right there when you pick the package up.
So it tells you to take 2 magnesiums to really absorb.
To equal the dose.
Well, that's.
And it'll say how much,
So
right
they
on
lie to
there.
you right to your face and tell you the truth. They say, here, take
At the
6
same
of
time,
these.
if you're not reading it, it really is right in front of you. And if you're just price driven at that moment, you can pick up the incorrect one.
So the bottom line here is magnesium does have different. There's something in magnesium that I was told I have to have. And I went to the aisle and I saw 400 bottles of magnesium. I mean, how the hell do I know what's what? There's a certain something you're supposed to go as a diabetic. Do you know what they're talking about?
Usually the magnesium glycinate,
Glycinate.
is one that's absorbed pretty well. If I just had to throw a dart at one of the salt forms, it's going to help with the 300 processes in the body. So the magnesium itself that is attached to that glycinate will be pulled into the body. The body says, oh, I know where you need to go. And, via the bloodstream, it'll get it to the right spot and plug it in so that it could do its process.
And that's male or female, makes no difference?
Yes, the absorption is usually, for either sex. That's why they're able to put it right on the label for the recommended daily allowance of how much magnesium we need.
Magnesium?
Now, how would anyone know? Which is why
Glycinate.
why people need to come to you is what I want to get to. Because you'll look at your blood work.
Yes.
And your blood work may be perfect, but it doesn't mean you don't need anything.
Right. So outside of just a regular chemistry panel, which is your sodium and potassium that most blood work have, we also are able to do blood work based on vitamins. A lot of people don't know if they're low on a vitamin A, any of the B's, C, D, E's, as well as amino acids. So that's kind of the uniqueness being in a compounding pharmacy, where we're able to use that type of blood report in order to say, oh, you are really low on this element that you should be taking, and not just walking into the store like Freddie did. You see 400 different ones, and really it's a lot of them. Everybody's marketing it in a different way. It's very confusing. So, usually I'll take the risk on $6.99, and that's kind of what happens. Whereas if you were to see the results and sit down with someone like me or on my staff and say, oh, well, this is what you're low in, and it costs $18 or $20 for this, but it's going to help you. We know it's going to help you because we're going to help you get the correct absorption from the right salt form, so it's going to get in the right place, and so you're going to start feeling better. And so that's an easier pill to swallow when it's going to work and you had a chance to talk with someone about the supplement. Most supplements are just sold when people just walk in and grab something because they heard, I need to take a vitamin, I need magnesium, my joints hurt, I need glucosamine. I'm going to just go grab one at the store, what's on sale, and keep it moving. But it should be a little more of a discussion with the healthcare provider so that you get the right one.
And if people aren't in the area of where you are, if they're not in East Fort Lauderdale, can you do a telehealth or a phone call if they get labs to you?
Yes, we the lab where it's their lab kit that will have the vitamins. Those could be sent in, or we could ship the kit right to your house, and you would do the lab draw in your neighborhood or your state, and the results would also be sent in to us. And then from that, we would jump back on with you via Zoom and go over the results and help to guide you to a more customized vitamin for you. So just taking a multivitamin or a one-a-day vitamin, may not be enough. But as part of that customization and personalization, when you have something that's made for you, it's going to make you feel better because it's going to fill in the gaps that you're missing just in your regular diet, or if you're already doing some other supplementation.
And what everyone says is, don't worry, if you take too much, you'll just urinate it out. Well, that's not the point.
But is it true that really happens?
The point is to take what you need, though.
Correct. And that only happens with the water-soluble vitamins. The fat-soluble vitamins stay in the body. The water-soluble ones, like a vitamin C, that's why when most people get sick, you get a cough or start sneezing, and you say, oh, I need to take some vitamin C. Let me go take 1,000 milligrams. The first time you're going to the bathroom, the majority of that is coming out. That's why your urine will look like it's neon yellow. You really should, the rule of thumb that I use is 250 milligrams throughout the day, at least 4 times a day, every time you pee. So when you go and pee, take another 250. You go pee again, take another 250. And you'll probably still get that 1,000 milligrams in the course of a day. Hopefully you're going to the bathroom about 4 times a day. But you're going to have that sustained in the body so that the processes can work properly, so that vitamin C can help you. Not, you took it before you went to work in the morning, and the first time you went in the morning, it's just out of the body, and the rest of the day. Yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
See, I'm guilty for that.
I think we all
I'll be
are. We just
honest.
take 1,000 in the morning and just say we're good to go.
Yeah.
'Cause who knew that?
Yeah, until about 9:30.
Wow.
Done.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But this is, the first time he was here.
You taking out your pills?
Yes. Nothing, but you should keep your nose on the camera.
I hear it.
I can't get away with nothing up here.
You can wait till we go to commercial break.
No, I can't. I got to put it here because I'm going to forget, like I have been. Because he said 9:30. She says, damn.
You want me to go to break?
You're not funny.
Sorry.
There's a couple of things that I was told. Since my A1C has come down below 6, I want to get it to 5 to start getting off of my metformin and things of that nature. So I was reading that replacement for metformin that does the same thing is cinnamon.
Yes.
Cinnamon pills.
Somebody told you Burberry yesterday.
Or Burberry.
Cinnamon.
But
Yes.
which is better, the Burberry, the cinnamon, or both combined?
Well, that'll still go back to, remember, supplements for what we're used to in Western medicine, which are very potent and are quick fixes to help us. Herbals are going to be what we feel are a lot weaker. So they should be incorporated, for instance, with cinnamon. If you are diabetic, you should have that incorporated.
Both of them?
Like all the time. So if it's, you had some cinnamon that you added to your tea or to other things that you were eating, some applesauce or something that's sugar-free. So it would still kind of be there in the body on a regular basis, not just, kind of a one-time and that's it. I don't use it again.
Well, I'm going to give you a secret. I learned about cinnamon a long time ago. My mother used to tell me the pills are all fake. Here's cinnamon. It ain't easy sucking on cinnamon, I got tired.
No.
So I bought cinnamon pills.
Yes.
Okay. I don't, but my question to you as the pharmacist
Yes.
is, do I take any kind of cinnamon pill? Is there a specific cinnamon? Is that cinnamon really cinnamon, or is it wood chips embedded with the cinnamon? Because they did it for cheese, remember that?
Yeah, and usually cinnamon, it would still depend on the brand. Brands are really big on how they are processing and standardizing the herbs that they're putting into the supplement, as well as the combinations. I use a lot of formulas. I have a formula that's in my pharmacy that has the cinnamon with alpha lipoic acid, with the hemina, that's another one in there, and chromium. So all synergistically, those are things that the diabetic will need in their body, especially like yourself, as you're coming down in your A1C, you want to make sure that as your body is producing insulin. Are you type 2?
Yes.
Yeah, so your body is producing some insulin. What ends up happening is your sensitivity of your cell receptors to your own insulin kind of went away. The cinnamon and that combination, alpha lipoic acid, all of those will help your cells become more sensitive to your insulin, so that it can use it to burn off the glucose that's being produced in the body as you eat, and that will also help. So, combinations are very good, and that's just kind of broadening the supplements, the herbs that we're having in our diet. They can be purchased in a capsule. And most of those, if they're standardized because of the company that produces them, then you're going to get the correct daily amount. And, 2 or 3 capsules, you may have to take 1-3 times a day, but it's going to be like you have this incorporated into your diet as you eat. We sell those on our website. So that's kind of where you want to think. It's not just the cinnamon or the berberine or, one really better than the other. It's kind of, you want it to be in concert in the body in order to help get you to the point where your doctor says, you really don't need the metformin anymore, because the body is more sensitized now to the insulin that you're producing, and it knows, again, what to do as it did years ago.
Well, but then, okay, that's an interesting point you just brought up. And I got to tell you, I've been battling this thing since 2006 when I came to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the first person, including the doctors that I've had in my life, that's ever explained it this way. The doctor tells you, take a pill, take it, and then they don't tell you how to take it correctly, which we'll get to after the commercial. But the bottom line here is, it's important that you know the information. And I've lowered my A1C because I stopped eating carbs, as much carbs. First, there was a no-carb diet, which got me on the track, and then I started to bring it down, and I've lost weight. And then, with the super patch and everything else, I've gotten the energy, because when you lose weight, you get a little bit weak. You get a little sluggish. It begins to happen on the mindset that you start believing that this sluggishness is really okay. I'm okay to sit back. Like, she's always excusing me and screaming at me, why are you sitting? Oh, because I'm losing weight, I'm a little tired, damn it. So it's important that you understand, as you're losing weight, to make adjustments to what you're taking, correct?
Yes, and a lot of that is because, remember, fat storage throughout the body, whether it's the abdomen or the thighs or the hips, as you're losing weight, the body is trying to go back and burn off the fat that's being stored. So fat is just storage, and it's mostly because the body did not know what to do with it. So when you eat a pesticide, that's on a non-organic fruit or vegetable, there's no harm in it until it goes in and the body's processing it, and someone says, oh, don't know what to do with this, store it. And so that's what happened with processed foods. When these companies go and they process foods and the body can't recognize it anymore, when it gets in, the body says, oh, don't know what to do with it, let's store it. So it just keeps storing things, and it happens a lot, along the lines of the carbohydrates and all the fake sugars. That's why Diet Coke, is just as bad as regular Coke. It's not doing anything better, because when the body sees that sugar chemical, it just says, oh, don't know what to do with it, store it. So once all that's stored, you gain weight, A1C goes up. Now you start to lose weight. Well, the body is going back to the storage and is pulling off the shelf and is trying to burn things. And those things are just kind of falling back into the bloodstream.
Right.
So at some point, we got to get those toxins out of the body. So, that's where making those adjustments and being able to also do things, along the lines of making sure the liver can continue to process to help eliminate, or the kidneys, some supplementation may be needed in month 3 or 4 to help the kidneys, because these are things that, they never made it that far in the first place. So now as they're exiting the body, you just want the kidneys to say, hey, yeah, get right on out of here, so that you also will have the energy. So that's what that sluggishness you may feel is, those toxins that have just been reintroduced, and now they have to be eliminated from the body as you're putting the good stuff in, so that it can do its job to help you feel better.
It's really, what he just said is so vital. People think that, let me have Diet Coke because it has no sugar, and they think that that's okay. It isn't. You're putting in toxins that your body is going to store, right? Leaky gut and everything else. All this stuff. You can have a diet donut. Makes no difference. You can have, and I love this, and I have to thank those in my life that just don't get it. You can have a carb, because I use a weight system from Weight Watchers that has 2 points as opposed to 6, so because it's less in carbs, okay. But it's not good for me. 1 gram of carb at this stage of the game is no good for me, because I feel that my body right now, if I look at a donut, if I look at a piece of carb, it absorbs it. It snatches it out of the air and puts it in my belly, or it puts it somewhere, and then you see the weight rise. So you're better off doing a fasting, or you're better off drinking water, or you're better off doing right things into the body than to do smaller things that you say, it's okay. It's only 1 soda. Oh, it's okay. It's only 1 slice. It's okay. You can have that 1 slice of pizza. It isn't in my world. In my world. Maybe in your world, yes. But my A1C, to get it down from 13 to where it is now, man, it took a lot of freaking work.
Yes.
A lot of work. And you have to be good to your body. My liver, my pancreas, and my kidneys. I got to be good to them. I got to be sensitive to them, because they're the ones that are going to get me on the ship to the right path, correct?
Yes.
So I got to absorb, like if you have this magnesium, and then you got to test it. You take it, you see how your body reacts to it. Because your body is a very tricky animal. It's going to rebel, and my goodness, rebel. It's
But then there's a
everything.
whole mindset to it also that I want to talk about on the other side of break.
This is it. This is the mindset.
Because
That's the
there's so
mindset.
many things. If I get into it, we're not going to go to break. So let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we've got mindset. We've got
The
Sam
mind.
joining us. A lot of this is your mindset. It's better than it was before, and I'm really glad. But then you can get your labs over to Dr. Mack and let him really take a look at it and analyze it, because maybe there are things you can eat that you don't realize you can eat. And you'll have even more energy to do what you got to do.
Yeah, but it's always green. You're going to hit me. It's going to come with the green
Yeah,
stuff.
it's going to be green. More
It's
to
gonna
come
be
on the
green.
other side of this break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. That's where you found out about the berberine.
That's right. And they sent me a copy of all. I got to talk to Doc about all of this stuff. And it does begin and end upstairs, Sometimes you think that you're not feeling well and you don't try for a lot of different reasons.
Then there are people like me that try everything.
You try too much. I get exhausted. I get exhausted by watching you try too much.
I try everything and I react to everything. And if I try 1, then I'll try 3. Like, remember I tried those gummies, the Zen Gen gummies? Bad idea, because J-Lo had this great commercial to be Zen, and they're Zen Gen. And I'm like, I'm going to try them, which I couldn't try. So I took 2, and the guy's like, oh, take the multivit ones as well. So I took 2 and 2. I almost went to the ER that night. I was so sick. Look at his face.
Wow.
And there's a product in it called ashwagandha that most people can tolerate really,
She's
really well.
allergic to it.
Except if you're allergic to it, you cannot tolerate it.
At all.
And how would anyone know they were allergic to ashwagandha until you don't?
Yeah, but when you take it and you feel like,
Like you want to go to the
yesterday's news,
emergency room.
You shouldn't take it for 3 days, right?
No, I didn't. I just took it. I took 2 in the afternoon and then 2 at night. I was so sick. But that's the thing with supplements is the stars, and they've got all these promos and all these testimonials that they're so great. You don't even know if they're taking them.
Yeah.
You have no idea. All you know is they're being paid for the endorsements. And if you're sensitive, or even if you're not, because Freddie can take a lot more things than I can. Like a lot of people come on set and they'll say, try this and try that. And everything I try on set, I've stopped trying on set because I will notoriously get sick in the middle of a show. He can try anything and be great. You just got to know your body, which
That's
is
not
why
true.
I work, and
That's
I do
not
work with a compounding pharmacy.
No, that's not true. I can't take everything and be great. I just don't tell you I'm not feeling it.
But I can tell you the difference with working with a compounding pharmacy and a physician or a pharmacist that you can access all day long makes a tremendous difference. One, in your mindset, because you know you've got someone that you can talk to if you don't feel right. Two, if you have a question, you can call them and you know that question is going to be answered and have an educated conversation, and they're going to guide you in the best way. And then three, you're not living with the anxiety of, did I take too much? Did I overdose? Did I underdose? What should I do with it? Is there going to be a contraindication with this medication or this supplement? It's like if you're in antibiotics. Do you know your birth control may or may not be effective? I mean, there's so many things that Dr. Google doesn't always answer appropriately.
You know, I'm exhausted listening to you.
That's just 3 things I named.
You know, one of the things, the first thing you got to do is
Live in here.
You
Can you try living with
You
this?
got to trust yourself a little bit.
You can't
You-
because
yes, you can. Well, we're going to go to the profession because you have to. If you overthink it, it won't work. Because you overthink the think of the think of the think of the think.
I
And the next thing
overthink.
you think, you're going down the sink with the
Josh,
think.
you know that phone thing we have?
And we're back. Are you going to be doing this from now on? You're Dr. Gard. I'm going to take a picture and introduce you to the world. Either that or you sing.
Mindset is all
It's
what
all
it's
about
about.
the mindset. See, guys do this all the time.
It's different when you're young, though. And I want to also talk to Mac that you work with women in hormone replacement.
Yes. And that's kind of where it starts. And just as part of what you were just discussing with like cooking the meals and that sort of deal, I would say probably about 65% of my business are middle-aged women about to go through menopause or in menopause. And many times when they're in the store, you know, I'm usually the one that's talking to them or one of my other pharmacists. And from their suggestion on whatever supplement they may take home, many times is something that could be new to them. For instance, we have a GI powder that's used to help with leaky gut. And it's cost $70, but I mean, it really is a magic bullet for many people. I haven't had anyone that I could think of that's brought it back and said, hey, this just didn't work, give me my money back. And many times, you know, that wife will say, oh, you know, wow, $70, you know, that costs a lot. But, you know, I'll tell them, hey, you just got to try it. If you're telling me you're having the symptoms that you're having, this will work for you. And that's for a month's supply. Most
Is that
times.
for menopause?
No, this is just like for GI.
GI, okay.
So many times I will have her come back in 2 weeks. I need another bottle. I say, whoa, you know, this should have lasted you a month. Yeah, but my husband started taking it, or one of the kids, because whatever food they were eating, whatever's being prepared, or if they were going out, is giving them all the same issues,
symptoms.
and it's in that household. And I mean, that happens, I would say easily 40% of the time. They realize that it works and they come back because those type of decisions that are being made in the home about food, you know, it's really real that the lifestyle has to change, and we have to put some sort of accountability to the nutrition that we are getting from our food. As we discussed, I think before, most people, if you got a huge bonus today for Christmas and you say, I'm gonna take out my whole family, I'm gonna take out my nieces, nephews, cousins, everybody, I'm gonna take them all out, I got a lot of money. The place that you go isn't the most nutritious place. You know, you're probably taking them to the biggest steakhouse here in Boca and spend a lot of money on them, and everybody walk out and say, wow, you know, we had a huge bill, we all had a great time, but the nutrition from that the next day is not what's necessarily there. And so that mindset has to be, what's nutritious for me? Because a lot of money does not equal I consciously eat vegetables on a regular basis, every day or every other day even. Or I have a salad twice a week as part of what I'm taking in so that I get that colorful plate. I get those radishes and carrots and everything. So, once you kind of make those choices and not getting the easiest food, which, usually comes through a window, and, you're full, and you could go from a cheap hamburger to a very expensive hamburger, but it's still a hamburger. It still isn't enough vegetables on there to really nourish your body. So until those kind of mindset shifts are made, you're going to have the diabetes, that is going to be very hard.
That's exactly right. It's a Lee hamburger as opposed to the hamburger.
Yes.
But psychologically, it all begins with the mindset first.
Yes.
In order to visit, Doc, you got to go through Sam to get there, because some people, they just don't understand that having a $200 meal may not be the best thing for you.
Yeah.
And some people, I just don't understand why it's easier to get down on yourself than it is to raise yourself and sort of applaud the good things you have going for you. So how do we switch that?
There's
So
a question on the TV. All right. Are we going to get a chance to ask Dr. Mack about our health challenges? Sure, Quentin, you want to write in?
Absolutely, write in, or if you want to call in.
888-994-4995. If you want to give a call to Dr. Mack, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or you can write in your question and he can help you answer that
Absolutely. Absolutely.
to the best he can.
And if you're close by and you want to come in, I'm serious. This is how important it is for people that are listening to this. But Sam, getting back to the question, how do we get to that point of self-confidence to be able to visit someone like Doc?
So it's interesting. I was just telling my client yesterday, she was like, why, exactly what you just said, like, why is it so hard? Well, actually, our minds are always trying to trick us. So, and that's where our overthinking comes in. So one positive, not
Talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
We're not giving you medical advice. Talk to the doctor. Talk to a professional, whether it's a mental,
They need.
because I don't want to get sued here. The bottom line is, you want to talk to the doctor, talk to a professional, whether it's the mental deal or the physical deal, one step at a time. But cinnamon is important.
work out in the end.
Well, for the two of you, fear is always the factor. Fear will slow you down. Fear of using something different. I mean, me to leave metformin, I've been on metformin almost 6 years, Doc. And for me, I want to leave it like an ex-wife right at the door. I have no problem with it. But the fear of doing it, the consequences of doing it, I'll be sleeping with one eye open, one eye closed. How do we overcome that whole
We have a ton
fear?
of questions, actually.
All right, so we'll go through them.
Let's go through all these questions. All right. Wow. They wanted more volume. I guess you worked on that. Dr. Mack is giving great information. Did not know about the cinnamon for diabetics. I'm going to start using cinnamon, is what she says.
But hold on, Doc.
And now Quentin said he's writing his
Wait a
message
minute.
back.
Before you do anything with the cinnamon, come
Talk
see
to
Doc
Dr. Mack.
and talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
We're not giving you medical advice here. Don't drop your meds and start taking cinnamon. Hold on a second, because I don't want to get sued here. The bottom line is, you want to talk to the doctor, talk to a professional, whether it's the mental deal or the physical deal, one step at a time. But cinnamon is important. Turmeric.
Turmeric.
Now, is turmeric with pepper better for you?
That helps a lot with inflammation throughout the body. Yes, because of the way they kind of work together to get to where they need to go. But for like the diabetes, the hemina, the cinnamon, the chromium, the alpha lipoic acid, the berberine, all of those are supplements that will help the body become more sensitized to your own insulin. It will help your body with being able to use the energy that it can find as you're changing your lifestyle. And as I said before, the herbals are going to be a lot slower process than we're used to from using Western medicine. Metformin, it goes in, it's going to do a job, whereas the herbals are more of that lifestyle change. So you're not going to see that same big effect after 2 days of metformin. With the herbals, it may take 2 weeks, but
May
you're
take
on
2
that right
months.
path,
Yeah, be
developing
patient.
that new habit. So those are the type of changes that we have to think is not just, okay, I'm going to start taking cinnamon tomorrow and I'll be better, next
I wish
week.
it was that easy.
And then
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to feel so bad that you want help. You need to find a different way. Like for me, for menopause, everyone said eventually you'll get to the point where you're going to want help. Eventually got to the point where I felt I was crazy. I needed help. And my help is
But
needed
that's
help.
a bad formula, Dawn.
But otherwise, you keep going. You keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
No.
Well, look, it took you to go to ICU.
But I'm not saying that I did it the right way.
Oh, I'm not. I didn't say I
This
did
is why I'm
either.
asking Sam. Fear.
Right.
Fear puts
Here's
you
our
on the
question.
path to wrong ways. You don't want to do it that way. You want to do it early, right? You can ask
Yeah.
questions, but you have to have the confidence to do these things.
And we want to listen to our bodies as well. I always say everybody that's in here or that's listening knows which gas station they will not take their car because they went one time, they put gas in it, it made their car run funny. They say, oh no, I'll never go back there. Oh, it's a quarter
that.
down the street, I'll pay that extra quarter. But we don't do that with our own bodies.
Oh, I tried that with hormones. I tried this and this and this supplement. None
we
of it
all
was. And then I
suffer.
said I'm not going to do anything till I couldn't take myself anymore.
And we suffer.
Here's the question from Quinton. I have someone that is trying to make lifestyle changes with eating habits. Can juicing be a great source to add more vegetables and fruit to their diet or supplements?
Yes, juicing is great. I think that many times what's so beneficial about it is, like I was mentioning, we don't always associate eating that fruits and vegetables on a regular basis or daily basis, even though we've heard it many, many, many times in our lives. We're not eating a salad, starting at least once or twice a week just to kind of incorporate that in. So what juicing does, it kind of gets all of that into one place and at least get those type of nutrition in your body. So it gets the nutrients and your body says, thank you for giving me things that I've been needing and wanting. With supplements, to me, they're just as important because even if you did say, you know what, I eat a salad every day, sometimes twice a day, the nutrition that's in carrots now in 2023 is completely different than the carrots that were in 1900. 100 years ago, the soil wasn't stripped down. There wasn't pesticides being sprayed on it. Farmers really did their job. So just over time, the earth has changed so that you still, even if you eat a carrot every day, most likely will still need some beta carotene or vitamin A type of supplement in order to get to the correct amount that's recommended per day, as well as the correct amount of milligrams. Each one, as you were asking earlier, magnesium has a certain amount of milligrams that's needed per day, vitamin A, vitamin B1, B2, B3. So we have different milligrams that's needed every day. But you don't know how much you're getting just because you went and juiced that carrot. It is a little more standardized, which is important, and that's what you see in professional line of supplements, that you're getting the correct standardized amount in those supplements.
Now, are there juice? Because I know there's some companies that'll do the vegetables and the fruits in a gummy or in a pill. Do you have anything that you recommend in your health pharmacy that's easier than going through all the juicing, or do you feel like the natural food is just better?
Yes, I think natural kind of starts with the mindset. If I'm focused on eating that salad twice a week, that's the choice I'm going to make. So I won't feel like I can't celebrate today if we all go out to lunch afterwards and go to a nice restaurant. If I haven't had my salad yet this week and I pick a salad, I don't feel bad. I feel like, okay, at least I still work that into my diet. And so a lot of times with the gummies, the first thing that I try to look for is the sugar content. Are we just adding sugars in there to make them taste better? Because, quite frankly, most of these supplements aren't the best tasting if you were to taste them naturally. That's why capsules are very important. But some are more tolerable, and if there maybe is a little stevia or one of the natural sweeteners, you're able to mix it into a powder in order to consume it. So that's kind of where we see the as Freddie said, I don't want just to have greens all the time, but there are no green French fries. Sometimes
Not
you're just
yet,
going to have
Doc.
to eat that salad. It's not a way around it. You need the fibers from it. Many times with juicing, even we throw away the fibers. If I've juiced before, and you would spend a lot of money and throw away a lot of good stuff that you may not eat, which is the byproduct of juicing, the fibers from the carrots and the fibers from the celery. We need that as well in the body. That's what's helping to scrub the inside of the gut, on its way out. So it's all that combination, and it isn't, just go full throttle one direction. It can't be a salad, just that's all I eat all the time.
Right.
It's a balanced diet. We've heard that our whole lives, and we've heard what we should not eat too much of. Too much of a good thing is still not good for you. So it's always trying to be balanced. It's always trying to make sure that we cycle our diet. So if you have a romaine lettuce salad Tuesday, then maybe on Thursday you have a spinach salad. So you're going to have different toppings with it. One day you're going to have cucumbers, the other day you're going to have tomatoes, just because of the way the salads are prepared, but you're still with that rotation of the vegetables in there. That's where the goodness is coming from.
Do you have someone that you work with that works with nutrition? Or
as like a registered dietitian? No, I don't have a registered dietitian. But that's where, many times just being able to look at the lab
it's a
results.
whole lot of work for you.
Well, we could see that, a lot of it is not things that people have never heard of. When I say eat a balanced diet, everybody here, oh yeah, everybody's heard of it. If it's stay away from the fast food line, everybody's heard of it, but it's not necessarily slowing down the fast food line.
True.
But if you went 4 times last week to fast food, maybe this week you only try it for 2. It's just trying to make that change at some
I
point
used to yell at you all
until
the
you
time.
can change your habit.
No, and again, Sam, it goes right back to
Yeah.
everything he's saying. Everything goes right back to habit.
Mindset.
21 days. That's what it takes. We used to do a segment, Be a Little Vegan. So it started with being vegan once a
Yeah.
week. Remember this?
Meatless Mondays.
It was Monday.
Meatless
And
Mondays,
then it
right.
went from 1 day a week to 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday. Then went to 3 days. I became vegan for 8.5 months.
Yeah.
But back in the day when we did this, it wasn't as open as it is now.
Yeah.
So it cost you a lot of money to be vegan. I had to go to Miami to pick up vegan ice cream.
It was pre-COVID.
Oh yeah, way before COVID. So these habits, sometimes to sustain and to keep them, again, marrying her is easy, keeping her is the difficult part. You have to train yourself psychologically to do these things, to feel good about yourself, that you're worth doing that extra mile as well. And if you're overthinking it, take yourself out of that box. Sit, sit for a minute. Like when you yelled at me the other day, sit and take a look just how much damage you create for yourself and for everything else around you, because you're reacting. You're not planning.
I always say to write it out. So,
that.
it's write it out. Do the action of it. So, like, if you feel as though, like, there is a lot going on up here, like I said, constantly, our mind just tricks us. So, write it out. Everything that you're kind of thinking, and then eliminate, like, the rational with the irrational thoughts. So, and like,
you have to have the right providers. There has to find someone like you for mindset and mental health, because it's not a stigma anymore. It's totally acceptable to talk it out and talk to somebody, because even if you talk it out in your own head, you're still answering yourself, which doesn't work so well. And then go to someone like Mac, or call Mac with a compounding pharmacy. I can tell you know how sick I was perimenopause, because nobody told me that's what it was. I could have used that gut thing with you.
I never knew that was it.
I didn't.
I just think you were nuts. But
For 2 years, he would pick me up some days from home, take me to work, and drop me back home, because I was too sick in my stomach to even drive.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, the doctor's like, oh, that was perimenopause.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't anyone tell me? Because then I could have maybe gotten help, because no stomach medicine was working, because apparently it was hormonal. But if you're not looking,
You say check your phone.
you don't know. So I think there's another question. Let's see. From Quentin. Thank you, Dr. Mack, for giving a couple of great perspective on how to balance both and help maintain your health.
Oh, you're welcome.
That
Clinton.
leaky gut information was good as well, and I'm going to give it a try. All right, so how do they get in touch with you to give it a try?
Right at our website, yhpharmacy.com, and it's the drop down that says buy what's in store, and the GI Complete is there. We have the categories by parts of the body, and the product is called GI Complete, which I just, like I said, for at the price, to me, it's the no-look jump shot that I know is going to help, because it has everything in there as one formula that when people look on the back, they say, oh, well, I tried aloe vera tea. Oh, yeah, I tried marshmallow root. Oh, yeah, I tried the glutamate. It's all in one, and it's in liquid form. We have it in capsule form that both can be purchased online, and it just is one of those things to help soothe the gut in order to heal the gut. It's not a Band-Aid. So people start to feel that difference, especially when they're trying to make those lifestyle changes and make those different food changes. This is what's going to help them. If it's an irritable bowel syndrome or things that they're eating that's causing inflammation in the gut, this is going to cool all of that down. So, they'll be able to see the difference very quickly. And, at worst case, they could just call the store at 954-283-7075. And we'll help guide them to it and ship it out to them if they're too far to drive to the store.
And if you have your blood work with you, get a copy of that, bring it to him.
Yeah, we'll set a consultation time, and that way we'll have time to go over it with you and be able to try to create a plan for your pathway back to being healthy.
I have another question. Long COVID symptoms.
Yes.
Are there supplements or things that you have found people are depleted of from COVID and the vaccines? Not that I'm telling you don't do it, but we've done it, that people are still sick from this long COVID.
Yeah, a lot of what I see is the toxins from the virus. After they gotten the virus and the virus is broken down, the body just really hasn't eliminated it. So it just bumps around as just pieces of virus that's no longer effective to make you sick. But being able to eliminate it, being able to go back into our lymph system and into our liver to just help detoxify the body. We don't spend enough time doing that. Everyone should try to do something like with milk thistle or trimethylglycine or dimethylglycine in order to detox their body at least once a year, sometimes even twice a year. So with long COVID, what we see a lot is inflammation that has happened. You still have the toxins in there, and we haven't done anything purposely to help the body get rid of it. Many people, they may just have rebounded. They may have something else that's in their diet that helped get it out of their system once that virus broke down. But that's kind of where we see the inflammation. We have some very potent anti-inflammatory capsules. It's like a fish oil on steroids with the omega-3, 6, and 9s in there. And we have a lymphatic tincture that kind of goes hand in hand with just literally helping to get this out of the body to make you feel better.
But think how important that is, because doctors don't have this information. They're different. They're helping you. You go see a doctor, you've got long COVID, what do? I don't know. Go rest.
Take 2 aspirin.
Right.
But that's why with Dr. Mack is so important, working hand in hand with the medical community.
100%. And it's funny because you have to have the courage to go see him. And you have to sort of let the noise go away, because there are other people in the profession, from what I'm hearing, they do these things a little bit different and everything else. What I like about Doc is, like I told you before, what he said to me the other day, nobody in the diabetes field ever said, but it all starts with upstairs. You got to train yourself to get going, to get in that place, and to believe that your decision is the best decision. That's the hardest thing in the world to do
really
right
is.
now. Is to stay positive about yourself and to have the courage to go see, have a conversation, and at least get the news to get back into health. She laughs at me because she thinks that all this that I'm doing now is new. It ain't new. I just didn't feel well enough to do it.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm really proud of you. We've been on this journey for a long time.
We got a long way to go.
And how about you, Mac?
Most times, these type of lab tests or the supplements
Private
aren't covered by patient insurance, so it's usually private pay. But that's why we try to at least work with you. And if you have lab work, that we can that's coming in the door that we can at least look at to try to create a path, we'll try to help you with that.
It's so well worth it. Every dollar spent wisely in your health is a step in the right direction on being proactive instead of reactive. You've been both ways.
I have been.
You've been both ways.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'd rather be in the penthouse than in the doghouse.
True.
Because in the doghouse, I'm gonna tell you, when they tell you you ain't leaving the hospital, that's some serious, serious weight. And you don't ever want to be there. So don't wait until things come down on you. You got a chance at their ages. Take advantage of what you see in front of you, because you'll live a better life. Not necessarily a longer life, but you'll live a better life. And you won't have to worry about the aches and the pains and eating the wrong things